Hello, hello, how are you? So, how is it going? Sunday. Great. So, that means I am audible. I am fine, thank you. So, let's begin with today's session. That is Saturn Return and other transits of Saturn, which will uh, give almost similar results. Saturn's results are always similar type of. It's just that the nature of other planet can change things little bit. So let's see what other transits are also, and what Saturn return also means. Saturn return happens happens once in 30 years time. Whenever Saturn is Saturn return means if someone takes birth today, then Saturn is in Sagittarius today. Okay, so for that child, Saturn return will be when Saturn comes back into Sagittarius. So Saturn returns into Sagittarius after certain 30 years time. Okay, I think I am loud. So I will try to come closer. That's all I can do. So, what I mean to say is that Saturn return is where when Saturn comes back into its normal original position, not normal, original position, where Saturn was at the time of the person's birth. Like I was born with Saturn in Leo. For me, Saturn return will happen whenever Saturn comes back into Leo. If someone is born with Saturn in Scorpio, then Saturn return will be when Saturn comes back into Scorpio, and this coming back, this returning back into the same sign position happens once in 30 years time, when person is around 29 to 31. This Saturn return begins. So that is the case with Saturn, that whenever it comes back into its normal position, that is around 30 years time, uh, Saturn return happens. Among all the transits, it is considered as the most important transits. Among all the transits means among all transits of all planets, this is considered as the most important transit because because of two reasons. Mainly the Saturn's nature itself. Saturn represents our difficulties, inconveniences, challenges. So that is the thing. Then Saturn transit is always 2.5 years, right? It goes on for a long time. So even if you are not under Saturn Dasha, even if you are not going through Sadesati, Dhaya or Antardasha of Saturn, nothing matters. Saturn will catch you any day within those 2.5 years. Okay, that's why Saturn return always gives impact. No one can ever say that he went through Saturn return and it didn't give any impact because of the uh, timing and the duration of the transit, 2.5 years. Then another important thing is that Saturn itself is difficult, right? One Saturn in your chart itself is difficult anywhere it is placed. Now when Saturn return is happening, so Saturn is coming back into its normal position. It is like having two Saturn at one house. It is like having two Saturn in one sign. Okay, so it is like the intensity of the Saturnian energy increases manifold. Okay, during that Saturn return time period. That's why if one Saturn is like giving you challenges, inconveniences and all that, now understand or imagine what two Saturns can do together. So that is where we feel the biggest pinch during Saturn return time. At the same time, it brings changes in your life. It is important to go through those changes. Okay, and like with Saturn, I will always repeat this thing, and Saturn is all about repetitive actions. So in a way, I am following Saturn only. That if you are going through Saturn return or any type of transit, Saturn and Dhaiya, Sade Sati, Saturn Dasha, Antardasha, Saturn transit through ascendant, it will bring some changes in that house or in that sign, and all we need to do is to be receptive towards changes. We cannot resist those changes. If we are resisting, it's our choice. We are only increasing our own stress. So the only way to deal with Saturn is to be receptive towards those changes which Saturn is bringing in life. Okay, now this is the time period where when biggest changes happen in our life. Even if we look at this age socially, okay, in our social environment, 29 to 31 is the age where people normally get married or have a kid. Okay, have a child. So that's why Saturn brings its responsibilities on the person. Okay, whenever Saturn return is happening, uh, person is going through Saturn return, mostly they either get into marriage or relationship kind of thing, or they have a child. So an additional responsibility comes up. But even if someone is not under someone is not in relationship or is not getting married or not having child, even then the responsibility factor will be there. Even then the responsibility factor will always be there with Saturn in any case. Okay, uh, like I didn't get married when my Saturn return, or I didn't get married at all till today. So but Saturn return still gave me the changes and challenges of life. My father passed away during that time. My career was changed. I had to make a home all of a sudden. So there were a lot of changes during Saturn return time period. So you don't think what type of changes or challenges can come up. Universe can manage anything for you. Okay, it's the universe wish what kind of changes or challenges it wants to you to give. But there will be changes and challenges. There will be more responsibility during Saturn return time period. Mostly the changes or challenges are regarding the house where the Saturn is returning. Okay, if it is in the second house, then changes or challenges can be related with family responsibility, wealth related responsibility. For me it was in the 10th house, so father, my career. From 10th it aspects 4th house, the home, real estate. So it depends upon the house where it is returning. Okay, the changes and challenges will be related with that house. Okay, if someone's Saturn return is in the 7th house, then the changes can or challenges can be related with the responsibility of relationship. 5th house, children or love romance related thing. Okay, they can go through a very painful breakup or something like that if Saturn is returning into the 5th house. Okay, so 12th house expenses, they have to take control of their expenses and not to be spendthrift. Okay, so wherever Saturn is returning, that house related things will bring new responsibilities upon you. Now again, if it can again return at the age of 60, right? First Saturn return is bound to give you new challenges and new duties in life, and you will with time you will realize that man, you need to deal with these responsibilities and duties. Now second Saturn return happens when someone is around 60 years of age. That Saturn return can decide whether the person wants to have another fight in the life, okay, or he can just decide to retire. It depends upon the situation of the person. Best example I can give is Amitabh Bachchan, okay. When his second Saturn return came, okay, uh, just before that he was in all the kinds of financial mess, okay. He was under lots of debt, and he had it was looking like he had nowhere to go, and how he would manage. At that time his second Saturn return started, and that time he got the Kaun Banega Crorepati, KBC, and that Saturn return, and he took the challenge again, okay. It was very easy for him to declare himself as a bankrupt, right? He could have easily declared himself bankrupt, and he could have saved himself, but he decided to take up the challenge again at the age of 60, and he took up the challenge, and he had this KBC, and his career was restarted, kind of resumed kind of thing, okay. Out of nowhere he bounced back again. So that is the nature of the Saturn return. Either in the first Saturn return or the second Saturn return, it will give you responsibility. It will give you some challenges in life. In first Saturn return, what happens that we are young at 30 years of age. We are young. We are ready to take up the responsibility and challenges. Around 60 years of time, person loses kind of his willpower and courage. 90% people, okay, they are in the retirement mode, okay. But it again depends upon the person, like I told in the example of Amitabh Bachchan. He took up the responsibility again, he took up the challenge again, and he was able to overpower those situations. So, and in a way Saturn also makes you realize your true potential during this Saturn return time. when uh, when Saturn return was whenever Saturn return happens, uh, it gives you all the challenges, responsibility, but it also makes you realize your true potential, because when you are taking up those challenges, you are taking up those responsibility, then you realize what you can do in life, okay. That is what happens with Saturn return or any type of Saturn transit. I always say that Saturn is one planet which may be having lots of difficulties around it, okay. It has harshness, it has all the difficulties, responsibilities, challenges, everything. First thing is to understand Saturn, you have to understand Saturn itself, the Shani. Okay, a Shani in the mythology, you have to understand it. Then you will realize why it is doing like this. If you look at the life of Shani, he was discarded by his father, he was discarded by his mother, he was never loved by his siblings, he was thrown out for nothing. He didn't get anything in his life but harshness. Now you can give someone something what you have, right? I can give something to someone what I have with me. So Saturn has this harshness. All he got in his whole life is harshness. So that is what he is providing to you. That is what he is giving to you, right? So first of all, understand Saturn itself, Shani itself, his own life. He has got challenges throughout life. So he is bringing those challenges. Then you take any planet, Saturn is the only planet which wants you to become legend. One planet which wants you to become great or legend in your field is Saturn, because Saturn represents repetitive actions, doing something repetitively, uh, doing something so repetitively that you become perfect at it. That is what Saturn's nature is. To do something so repetitively, so many times that you become perfect at it. I always give this example. Just Google top 10 people of any field, whichever field you like, cinema, sports, music, industry, politician. You will realize that all those people, all those top 10 people have one thing in common, that is they followed their Saturn. They picked up one job and did so repetitively that it became their perfection. When you do something so repetitively every day, and you repeat yourself every day, you will become perfect. Okay, so that is what Saturn wants you to achieve, the perfection, then the perfection and the legend status. Because if you are doing something repetitively, you will become perfect at that thing. That is what Saturn is all about, especially in Saturn return also. Like it is going to give you responsibilities, it is going to give you duties, challenges, but it wants you to take up those challenges. It wants you to face those challenges so that you can realize your true potential. That is what Saturn is all about. That is what Saturn return brings into life. In a way, we mature in life after Saturn return, not before Saturn return. Before Saturn return, it is like a child's play going on, right? After Saturn return, we realize the reality of life, and we realize that what are our duties and responsibilities in our life. Again, it is upon the individual, whether he wants to face it or he wants to escape from it. Like I gave example of Amitabh Bachchan. At the age of 60, he had the courage of facing it all over again. He had the courage to make his name all over again, which is very rare. Normally, at the age of 60 or 65, person is in the retirement mode. That okay, fine, I have lived my life. So that is the thing. Now, if we take other transits of Saturn also, now like Saturn transiting through ascendant. Ascendant is your life path. Okay, ascendant remains the most important house of chart because it represents the person himself and his life path. Now, whenever Saturn is transiting through ascendant, it is bound to change your life path. It will bring certain circumstances. It will bring certain circumstances in life that will change whole of your life path. Not your career only, or your relationship only, or wealth factor only. The whole of your life path can go through a major change when Saturn is transiting through your ascendant. Okay. Then in my case, when Saturn was transiting through Scorpio is my ascendant, right? So at that time I left my job and I came into this astrology related business. So that is an important thing with Saturn, that whenever it brings changes in any house. Okay, understand one thing, that even if it is transiting through second house, it will bring changes in your wealth and family matter. It will transit through third house, it will bring some changes to your younger sibling or your cousins or something like that. Fourth house, mother, home, environment, like this. So Saturn brings changes in any house, but when it transits through first house is your overall life path. It will bring change in the it will bring the biggest change of life. Okay, the whole life path will be changed, overall life will be changed. Okay, that is what Saturn is. Then if Saturn is transiting over a planet, Okay, we have seen the result of Saturn transiting over Saturn, that is Saturn return, which I said the intensity of Saturn increases because of double Saturns. But if Saturn is transiting over Sun or over Venus or over some other planets, the same changes or challenges will be related with that planet. Like if Saturn is transiting through over Sun Saturn biggest enemies, they don't want to see each other's face. That type of enmity is there between Sun and Saturn. If Saturn is transiting over Sun, that is like you will face changes and challenges related with career, with your father, with your authority figures, with your health, with your father's health. Okay, that is the thing. Saturn transiting over Moon, we have discussed about Sadesati and Dhaiya transit, so we have covered it. Saturn transiting over Venus. Venus is wealth, conveniences, luxuries, and relationship. There will be stress in your relationship. There will be lack of wealth, lack of resources. Saturn will limit your resources, and you have to be very practical and realistic in your wealth related matters when Saturn is transiting over Venus. Like right now, it is transiting over my Venus. Okay, so in matters of wealth and relationship, I need to be very practical. I need to be very realistic. I cannot be like having unrealistic dreams or impractical approach towards wealth. I cannot be spendthrift. Okay, so this is what Saturn transit over Venus is. You have to be very practical and realistic in matters of wealth and relationship. Saturn transiting over Mercury. If you are a business person, it will bring new challenges in your business. Challenges and changes related with your siblings, your cousins. You may make some major mistakes in your communication, and that will pinch you, because Saturn is practicality, Mercury is communication. So person needs to be very practical about his communication, very realistic about his communication, about what he is saying. Okay, it is better to speak less during that time rather than to speak nonsense. Okay, when Saturn is transiting over Mercury. Saturn transiting over Jupiter, it will make you study hard over your choice of education. You might have had to repeat some classes when Saturn is transiting over Jupiter, because Jupiter is knowledge, education, and Saturn transiting over Jupiter means there is a delay in education, there is a repetition in classes. You didn't put your best effort and you failed, so you have to do it again. Repetition, right? Saturn is all about repetition. Either you put your best effort in one go and pass that examination, or otherwise it will make you repeat that class. Saturn, it also brings a very strict type of guru. If someone is in a spiritual field, Saturn transiting over Jupiter, the guru person will be very strict. Okay, he will not be benevolent or very genuine type of or very gentle type of, I mean to say, not genuine, gentle type of. He will be very strict type of guru. Then what is left? Saturn, Rahu, Saturn, Ketu, they are difficult transits. Saturn transiting over Rahu, Saturn transiting over Ketu, or Saturn transiting over Mars, because all these are malefic planets. First of all, it will bring, and this will Saturn transit over Rahu, Ketu, or Mars. It will bring lots of stress because of the involvement of two malefics. Okay. Then, in case of Saturn Mars and Saturn Rahu, Saturn transiting over Mars and Saturn transiting over Rahu, it will be a time of utter frustration, because Mars and Rahu want to achieve things right now. Okay, when Saturn is transiting over Mars and Saturn is transiting over Rahu, Mars and Rahu are all about achieving things right now as quickly as possible, and Saturn is all about delay. So person tries his best to achieve things, and Saturn puts the delay. Saturn puts the block that there is no, you need to work hard, you need to show more perseverance, then only I will give you result. Okay, by doing that again he is making you perfect, he is again making you repeat that action more than often, so that you become perfect at it. Okay, then like Saturn Ketu is a difficult transit. Saturn transiting over Ketu, we can see the results right now as Ketu are transiting over Sagittarius in this year from March onwards, and we have seen the stress level it has caused in the house where Sagittarius falls in our chart. Same thing when Saturn is transiting over Ketu in your birth chart. So same type of stress you can feel for the house where Saturn is transiting over Ketu. It you may not expect much results during that time. Okay, so like this common theme around Saturn is changes, challenges, hard work, delay, perseverance. You have to follow all these things, then only you can expect some results from Saturn. Otherwise you are not going to get anything. It will not give you anything easily. The I always like to say that Saturn and Jupiter both are teachers, but Saturn is the one which has a stick in his hand. Saturn wants to make sure that you learnt your lesson, that's it. So any transit of Saturn is challenging, any transit of Saturn is difficult. It depends upon us whether we want to face those challenges or we want to escape from that. If you are escaping, it is not that you are going to escape it for a long time. It will again catch you somewhere. Okay, and if you are facing, then there is a possibility that you will realize your true potential. You will realize that you can do better things in life. That is what it makes us realize. And like I said, that only Saturn wants us to become legend by doing repetitive actions. That is what Saturn transits are all about, including Saturn return. Yo, I'm sorry if there was low volume. I don't know why it is happening. Maybe today's problem only. I will see if things repeat again. Then I will deal with. I will face this challenge. What about 12th house? Saturn transit in 12th house or Saturn return in the 12th house is like you have to be very cautious about your expenses, your spending. You cannot be spendthrift. Saturn transiting over 12th house. Plus it depends upon the sign also in which it is transiting. Like for a very malefic sign like Scorpio, for like Sagittarius ascendant, it is Saturn in Scorpio in 12th house. It is very difficult transit. Okay, another thing is that Saturn 12th house is 6th from the 7th. Okay, so 12th house represents your conflicts in relationship. Okay, so when Saturn is transiting through your 12th house, it is like blocking that 12th house related thing. It is giving you challenges in 12th house related things for 2.5 years. For 2.5 years Saturn is there. In that time period it can bring any conflict with your relationship partner. Okay, it is also a house of sleep, so your bad pleasures, your sleep can be very limited during Saturn transit in Scorpio. But overall it is more of financial nature, that one needs to be very practical in financial aspect of life, because from 12th house Saturn is aspecting the second house of wealth. So to save your money, it is third aspect, the aspect of the third house. To save your money, you have to put an extra effort when Saturn is transiting through 12th house. Which house for Amitabh? I think he has Saturn in the fourth house. He is Aquarius ascendant, and Saturn is in his fourth house, Taurus. From fourth house, it aspects the 10th house, so it kind of rejuvenated his career. Just wanted to say, you have tremendous knowledge, and I will order a full consultation from you. Thank you. I will be happy to help. Then some Saturn in 12th house in Aquarius. Is there any chance to go abroad? If there are chances, then when it is happening, and is there foreign settlement due to this placement of Saturn? First of all, for any prediction, I hope you understand, prediction cannot be given in live sessions. I don't know your overall chart, I don't know your dashas, transits, nothing. So prediction I cannot give, that when are you going to travel. But I can tell you what happens when Saturn is in the 12th house. It is like, first of all, it is in Mool Trikon sign. So it is dignity wise, it is fine. Saturn in Mool Trikon sign is where it is, we can say, little bit benefic, little bit, 1% or 2%, nothing more than that. Challenges will still be there, okay, there is no escape from there. Then when Saturn is in the 12th house, going to foreign lands become difficult. You have to put an extra effort, okay, extra effort to get there. From howsoever you are trying to go, like through your job or through your own expenses. If you, even if you are trying to go on your own, it will require lots of effort, okay. Second thing, why it is so, that not only it is blocking the 12th house, it is also aspecting your 9th house with its 10th aspect. So both the houses related with long distance travels are blocked. Now you have to put your best effort with perseverance to get any result out of it, okay. Then Saturn represents our stress. It is in Aquarius sign, so it may not impact you so much, but still there will be stress if you are in foreign lands. It won't be a pleasant journey or pleasant stay in your foreign lands, foreign travels or something like that. The time you spend there will have its stress, its continuous stress. One thing you should be very careful when you are traveling to foreign lands, because I have seen this in people chart. Either they lose their documents, their visa, their passport, either those things get lost somewhere and they get into some legal trouble. So be very careful about it if you are planning to travel. So be very careful about your documents, your passport, visa, everything, okay. Then in certain cases I have seen that they have gone there and they landed into some dispute and conflict with people of that country or something like that. So they had to face litigation there. In one case I have also seen someone going to jail in foreign lands. So it is not for everyone. In certain planetary placements, certain dashas or transits, it can be the result. But be very careful even if you are going there, okay. Be very careful about your documents, about your passport, visa. Plus don't take up any conflict with anyone, okay. Otherwise, and remember that Saturn is long term, okay. Yeah, if anyone gets into problems related with Saturn, it can be a long term problem. Okay, so just be very careful. Very true for me. My first house Sagittarius. Thank you. What happens when Saturn transiting over its own sign Capricorn and Aquarius? It is the same thing. I won't say that. I won't give you a rosy picture that just because it is transiting over Capricorn or Aquarius, it is going to be very nice, very gentle. Nothing like that. Challenges will be around Capricorn, and challenges will be around Aquarius representations, and challenges will be around the house where these two signs are falling. So suppose someone is Taurus ascendant. Okay, for him it is ninth house. Capricorn is ninth house, and Aquarius is 10th house. So challenges will be related with father, loss of father, teachers, career. So challenges will be there. Only thing is that what I said is 1% to 2% help from Saturn. Okay, nothing more than that. So it is better not to even think about it, because if you think that okay, it is little bit better, then you will again not put that much of effort. Okay, so think that it is as is. Okay, is Saturn, and it will give you Saturn related results. So the results for answer of your question, result will be around the house where Saturn is transiting in Capricorn and Aquarius. Like for people like me who are Scorpio ascendant, Saturn is transiting through third house, fourth house. For me, challenges will be around my business when Saturn next moves into Capricorn, and then when it enters into Aquarius, challenges will be around my mother, home environment, maybe taking off some new real estate property, something like that. Saturn return takes place after every 30 years in our life. Yes. First Saturn return is between 29 to 31, then 50, 59, 58 to 60, something like that, and then around 90 years of age. My Saturn is in 4th house Pisces. Can I begin new career after 60 years? You can. It will get you into that type of situation where you have to work. Now it depends upon you whether you want to face that situation or you want to escape. If Saturn is the one, it not allowing go to the foreign lands, it will make difficult. As I said, if Saturn is in the 12th house or something like that, it will make things difficult to go into foreign lands. And like if it is an enemy sign, like Saturn is in Leo or Scorpio, or Saturn is in Aries, then I would recommend to better avoid getting into that situation, that to seek a foreign settlement. Okay, first of all it will make it difficult, but if it is also weak dignity wise, then it is better to avoid, unless there is another dasha going on or something like that. Okay, but it will even in those different dashas, at least your stay in foreign lands will remain stressful. Saturn in Scorpios in 5th house, and after my Saturn return, my life changed drastically, especially when Saturn entered and transit in Mula over my Mercury and Venus. Right. Saturn transit over Sagittarius over all my natal planets currently over my Sun is very stressful. What results should I expect when Saturn will enter in Capricorn in January? From 7th from Lagna, 6th from the moon, 6th from the moon, and Jupiter will transit in Sagittarius in 6th house from my Lagna, and 5th from the moon. So first of all, understand the difference between transit from Lagna and transit from Moon, or predictions from Lagna or prediction from the Moon. From Lagna, it is the event. Okay, the actual event happens through Lagna, through your ascendant. From your moon sign, it shows how your mind is going to react to that event. Okay, suppose let's take this example first, then we will come to your question. Suppose someone is having a childbirth. His fifth house from ascendant got activated through dasha and transit, and he had a childbirth. Okay, but his moon is in the 12th house. Okay, now from 12th house, this fifth house falls 6th. Okay, the fifth house from ascendant will be 6th from the moon, because moon is in the 12th house. Sixth house is the kind of obstacles or difficulties. So this person, through ascendant, he will have a childbirth. But rather than enjoying that event of childbirth, or be happy about it, he will think in the matter of conflict or obstacle, that now I have this child and I have these many responsibilities, I need to arrange these things, and I was planning to go there, now I cannot go. So his mind will start behaving like this. Okay, his mind will start thinking like this. So what is happening? Because fifth house is actually 6th from the moon, his mind is feeling obstacles. Okay, from Lagna it is 5th house, so it gave the childbirth. Okay, now coming to your question, Saturn will transit into 7th house. Okay, from the ascendant, but from moon it is 6th house. So what it is giving is that it is making you focus on relationship or business aspect of life, or dealing with other people, dealing with your partner, all these things. That is event from the ascendant. It is making you focus on those things that you need to focus in, you need to work on the 7th house related matters. But from moon it is falling 6th house. Okay, so your mind will feel obstacle, that how do I do it, how should I go about it. Okay, if I need to start business, how I should start business. Okay, your mind will automatically feel the obstacle kind of thing when the same transit is happening from 6th from the moon. Okay, you may feel okay, I need to start my business, but I don't have enough finances. You may feel okay, I have to start my business, but right now I am not ready, I need to study more, I need to prepare myself more. Okay, so any reason can be there, but that reason will be in the nature of obstacle, because the Saturn is transiting 6th from the moon. 7th from the ascendant shows the focus. You need to focus on those things, you need to work on those things. But 6th from the moon shows there will be obstacle in focusing. Okay, then Jupiter transit from the ascendant shows that you may need to educate yourself on how to keep your good health. Jupiter is knowledge. 6th house Sagittarius, it is all about higher education, getting knowledge. 6th house is your diseases, illness. So first of all, you need to educate yourself about your health issues, how to resolve those health issues. Same conflicts which you were facing to start your business. In our example, as I said that 6th Saturn is transiting 6th from the moon, so your mind is facing obstacle. Now Jupiter transiting through 6th house will give you education and knowledge how to deal with those obstacles. Okay, how to resolve those obstacles. That is again through Jupiter transit 6th from the ascendant. Now it is 5th from the moon, so your mind will feel very creative, very knowledge oriented. Okay, let me learn, let me educate myself about how to deal with these obstacles. So mind will be all about gaining some new knowledge. so that you can resolve your conflicts. So it is quite jumble of things uh, about ascendant and moon. We have to first see from the ascendant, because that is the event. Actual event is always through ascendant. From moon, it is how your mind is going to feel about it. If Saturn Sadhasati going on and spouse Saturn Mahadasha going, then will it cause separation of both? Separation depends upon the transit and dashas of both the people involved. Uh, the simple rule for seeing someone's separation, breakup, or divorce kind of thing is like first house, sixth house, 10th house should be active. Okay, as per dasha and as per the transit. First house is self, sixth house is dispute and conflict, 10th house is authority figures, judges. So when these three are active, it shows that someone is getting into conflict and is going towards a higher authority like judge to resolve the matter, to decide the matter. That is filing of the case, that is filing of the divorce. In cases of breakup, like a boyfriend girlfriend case is going on, in that we don't need activation of 10th house. The 6th house activation is enough, because you need not to go to any authority for that, right? Those two people can decide by themselves. Then important thing, the first I told you, the first, 6th and 10th. First, 6th and 10th is for filing of the divorce. Okay, it is. But if you want to see the result of the divorce, when it will get finalized, 8th house activation is necessary. 8th house is third from the 6th. 6th house is litigation. Third is communication. So 8th house becomes the house of judgment, communication of litigation. Okay, so whenever a person goes through first, 6th and 10th house dashas or transits, he files a litigation. After that, whenever 8th house gets activated in dasha and transit, the litigation gets complete, he gets the judgment. This is really very helpful and enlightening, wonderful session as always. Thank you. So I think it was good session. Enjoy the friendship day. Next session I'm planning to do on Rahu Ketu. You're welcome. Take care. All the best. So next session we will do on Rahu and Ketu, and then we will see how it goes further. We will find some reason or something like that. Okay. Take care. Bye. Thank you.